Let's go. So we were live.
How many people were messaging me?
Oh, we weren't actually live.
How many people were messaging me?
Oh, I got 3 messages in the radio group chat.
Poggers.
Hey, well that means that, now we get a third chance.
So are we live now?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're live now.
Oh,
Are we
sweet.
recording?
Okay.
We're recording.
We're live
So
now,
for the-
we're recording. We're peaking, by the way.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode number 2 of Green Night Live.
So take 3 of episode number 2.
The first time we weren't recording, the second time we were recording, but both times we weren't live.
Yeah. All right. So key takeaways here. We talked about the honors program.
It's good. It's good that it's good that it didn't get saved.
Probably for the best, but
it's
that's in the past, and there's no record of it.
Do we want to start over?
I think.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode number 3 of Green Night Life. What we've lovingly dubbed.
Are we peaking still? No, we're not peaking.
We're not peaking? Alright,
You
cool.
can see it on the dial.
Poggers.
Thank you to those of you who are listening and helping us through our technical difficulties.
We understand what we're doing now.
Yeah.
We're good.
Understand is
Alright.
Understand is a variable. Something like
So
that.
for the third time now for us, for the first time for you, I'm your host, Nathan. With me is my co-host, Tim. Tim, say hey.
Hey.
With me, we have our 2 boys. Introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Ben.
Hi, I'm also Ben.
Wait, no, I'm Mark. Hold on.
Wait, 2
I'm
Bens?
Dan. I'm also Dan.
My name's not Dan.
All right. So
So, anyways.
yeah.
Why say Norbert?
So, wait, no, okay. I gotta drop the structure of the show again. So,
Ugh.
I may remember last week we talked about how, basically with this show, myself and Tim, we're 2 seniors at the college. We're going to be trying to have other people who we know or maybe even don't know on the show, just to kind of talk about whatever their experiences at St. Norbert, their lives, just kind of share their minds on a platform, which is SNC Radio. This week we've chosen 2 close friends of ours we've known since freshman year, Mark and Ben. So, why St. Norbert?
well, let's do this again from the top.
From the top. Don't know.
Round 3. Ding ding.
St. Norbert, actually, it's, I guess from the perspective of an art major, so everyone will take this seriously. I got into MyEd, and I passed up MyEd for St. Norbert, and some nights I lie awake and think about what if. But actually, it's not actually that bad of a choice, because Norbert if you go to MyEd, you're good at one thing. They'll make you an artist, you'll take a lot of art courses, and you'll leave being very good at that one thing. Norbert has a leg up from a lot of other places that I looked at because it's actually a liberal arts education. They have other programs that if I wanted to do a theater program, I could come here and I could do that. And if I wanted to take art classes, they offered that. And they had an honors program. MyEd's just art courses. So I would have been severely limited.
What I'm getting here is you've been successfully brainwashed by the liberal arts program.
Yes.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Is that what they call it now? No, it's that I wanted options, and they happened to offer just enough that it tickled my fancy.
That's fair.
I decided to shell out the cash for it.
That's fair.
Great.
Let's see. When I was looking, I was going to be a high school math teacher.
Dude, could you imagine? That would suck.
So it was
Yeah,
between
imagine.
this, Stevens Point, and Stout or Platteville. And I toured this and Stevens Point on the same day, and it was black and white. The people were different. This school, I mean, they say that, there's 90% of the people here are biology coming in freshman year, and they're all dropped, 40% after.
Yeah.
But the school is actually really well known for its education program. It gets you in and out 4 years, and you're more qualified than some of the state schools. They do a good job with that. Lucky for me, I dropped the education major by the end of freshman year, so moved on from there.
Nice.
What kind of a question is this? This is so marked since we're on the SNC Radio.
Exactly.
Why did you choose this school?
Are we just a political machine?
Have we been brainwashed by liberal arts education?
we might have been.
So why not UW Stout? No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I just want to specify
Loaded
also
question.
my math education comment was very sarcastic before someone gets on my case for that. I am actually student teaching right now. Anyways, the other thing we started talking about before we realized that we're all idiots and don't know how to run a radio board, and by we I mean me. I'm the only person here who is not in the SNC honors program, so I'll ask the same question as I did before. Why?
Self-hatred.
Oh, you know.
That's a good answer.
They basically, like, I don't remember exactly the full story, but I think I just got an email saying, like, hey, you're eligible, and I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think there was much more thought put into it, for me at least. Like, going into college, I was just kind of like, whatever. So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna give a real answer here. I'm gonna get real.
Okay, well, let me
Go for it.
first.
It's okay. Go first.
So, when I toured, Maribeth, is that her name?
Yeah.
Maribeth was like, yeah, you'd be a good fit. And I was like, okay. And this is me in March, touring colleges for the first time. March senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll apply. Applies, gets in. Before a buddy of mine who we went to high school together, he applied 3 months earlier and did not get in. He was on the wait list.
Oh.
He did eventually make it in because we had enough people drop. But yeah, go ACT.
It's funny.
One of the things. All right, real answer here. It's hard. It's so freaking hard. It has come in handy in getting me out of some prereqs. But the reason I chose to do it was I figured may as well try, see if we get in. And then when I got in, I figured it's always easier to drop later than it is to try to get in at a later date. It's impossible to get in after the start, and it's easy to drop later. And I thought for sure I was going to wash out. Because that first class, writing a paper about sidewalks, crying myself to sleep, thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, that was a fun class.
Sidewalks.
Wait, can you please enlighten me on this sidewalk paper?
Okay, alright.
True.
So, one of the first assignments that we had to do was that we had to read a bunch of articles about like how street life is now completely dead in America. That the car has ruined it. And that we no longer walk down the street and buy things from vendors and say hi to each other. And you know, this is liberals, damn it. And we had to write a response.
I think you
No, you're right. You are entirely right. I was there.
Totally a nonpartisan paper. That was 100% biased.
Yes.
But we had to write a response on how we'd set up like ideal neighborhoods to encourage this sort of street life.
Oh, right.
And we had to talk about the dynamics of like how the layout of towns is like a detriment or a benefit to like their culture, like how putting a shopping center too far away encourages no one to like walk anywhere. And it was the biggest exercise in redundancy I have ever done in my life.
The whole semester was that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was very helpful for learning how to just crank out a freaking paper. Because I don't think there was anyone in that class who sat down gung-ho to accomplish that bitch. And like really, really put down some good effort for it. I think everyone it was very much an exercise in really just digging deep.
Well,
in that sense, it was helpful.
I think there were some people in that class, in our class particularly, I can't speak for the others, honor 101 classes, but I think there were some who actually tried, like a lot. It felt like, personal meaning in that class.
That's true.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. Yeah.
However, there were also those in that class that were not quite there, perhaps.
Yeah.
Might be a good way of putting it.
Our class was mostly, not in it for the win.
Yeah.
But, we had a few.
But say what you will about it. But we all learned how to write a paper from
we also the one big takeaway from that class is that cars and cities are in fact not natural enemies. Because both are man-made.
That's true.
Yeah. So, a little bit of a backstory here. There was a quote from one of these articles we had to read, and it literally said that the car and the city are natural enemies. And that was a talking point for at least Ben and
2 weeks?
Yeah, for our class, for like a solid 2 weeks. We spent a long time on that. Then we had to write a paper. And in one of the prompts, this one student in the class wrote that they're not, in fact, natural enemies simply because they're man-made. So therefore, they can't be natural enemies. And that was also a talking point for an additional 2 more weeks. But,
doesn't sound like a lot got there.
Yeah.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
I mean, like,
flipping back our time
for honors, for me at least, I mean, honors is kind of whatever. I don't really care that much about it. I do it when I have to, kind of. But at the same time, it is how I met a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
So I met you in the class.
I'll find the other corner just because this is being recorded when you're done.
No, you go ahead.
All right,
go ahead.
I mean, it has its perks. It definitely drilled in the writing intensive mindset. We got to live in probably one of the nicest freshman dorms, even if everyone gets made fun of for it.
Yeah.
We got to meet all of each other. It kind of gave... it both was really hard to accomplish and gave some structure to a freshman year that otherwise wouldn't.
That
maybe
is
have
true,
that.
actually. Yeah.
So I have an interesting relationship with it. Sometimes I want it to sleep on the couch. Other times I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers. You know, it's there. It's in my
there.
life,
Yeah.
and I'm happy I'm still there.
So if you could go back and not do honors,
Yes.
would you? That's a yes.
Yeah.
You would go back and not do it.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm still in it. I would say I'd do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd still do it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Personally, like from my perspective, I don't think I've gained anything from it.
I think part of that
But-
too, though, is it's very humanities
Yeah,
oriented.
very true.
And so it heavily screws over anyone who's STEM.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's easy to... Because half of the honors courses will cover the core requirements you have to do as part of the liberal arts. If you're in education or, English, history, international studies, you can knock a couple of boxes because you can swing a course or swing a
Right,
tutorial.
exactly, yeah.
Whereas, you're not going to see a honors,
Yeah.
chemistry 2 class anytime soon.
Right. So,
I mean, I'm kind of glad to hear that because I feel like as a non-honor student, all I hear from honor students are, I hate this, I don't want this, get me out. So you're saying it is
In the
worth
moment, yeah, that's usually
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fair. I mean, I guess it's the case of a lot of like hard
Right.
majors and stuff too, but in the end, you get to do the job you want. So it's kind of like that.
I mean, I am knocking honors, but it does have a lot of its perks, so, I mean, I
yeah.
can't take that away from
Can't
it.
let give horse in the mouth.
Yeah. I just think it's funny because, like, kind of what you mentioned, Mark. I know Dr. Olson had mentioned a couple times he wanted to make a physics or at least science-related honors honors class, and it's been shut down every time it's been suggested. So that's pretty cool.
That's right. Our
I kicked it actually.
I know the old director used to be a math professor prior 2 directors ago, but even then there weren't hardly
Yeah.
any STEM classes because it's the way it runs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's whatever. It's just kind of a side effect of the program, which is you have to take it for what it is. So.
But hey, how many of our classmates in honors are still in? Still in.
Amen. Yeah,
Right.
we're all
True,
in.
true,
That's
true.
true.
Either have graduated or just left,
Yeah.
or have changed their major because what was it? I think we counted one day. Wasn't it like 75% of that building freshman year was biology or pre-med?
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Some
Right.
sort of.
Mhm. Almost like like all of third floor kind of sort of.
There's 2 art
And then a
majors
lot
in
of
this program too.
Are there?
I'm
I
trying
thought it
to
was
think.
3.
I thought it was
Maybe
3.
3.
Yeah.
we had a weird draw freshman year.
We did.
That's all I'm getting at with that one.
There was 3
Yo.
physics majors freshman
Yo.
year.
Only math major in honors right now.
Really?
The only
In our
physics.
class.
Yeah, true.
Wow.
Same with physics, but I'm also the only physics major in my class at all. So, so that's pretty cool.
Should we move on to another question before we go down the honors rabbit hole any further?
Well, I have one more question, just kind of half to create conversation and half because I genuinely don't entirely know. Like that, we talked about a lot of the requirements for honors, like freshman year, like with that honors class you take. What are like the requirements for honors now that you've been through all that?
It's gotten way more lax.
Yeah.
That like I didn't take any semesters off for 3 years, and now I have leeway with not taking one this year, and I only have to have one more honors course to get out. So I'm going to take a 2-credit tutorial next semester. So it starts off way harder, and then kind of tapers off because you learn all the skills that you need from it immediately. It does have the latent effect of feeling like you get into the classes for your discipline a little later because you spent so much time doing all these intensive cores and doing all these honors classes that then before you know it, you're like already done with being a sophomore and you're just starting your major, which felt late to me because a lot of my peers got to jump on their stuff right away, but I guess they also knew what they wanted to be right away. I loaded up on everything at the beginning and then kind of figured it out as I went along.
Okay.
But yeah, you take the honors course, and then you still have to do honors theology and honors philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't change from freshman year.
Yeah, you gotta take them opposite each other.
And then yeah, it's 3 more courses, and some of them are absolute beasts in terms of what they are.
Oh,
True, that is true.
And some of the tutorials, I took it was like a survey of like disease history. So we did 4 weeks with the microbiology professor here. Was like 4 weeks. No, two and two. So 2 weeks with him. We did 2 weeks with a sociologist to study kind of like plague theory, I guess, epidemic theory, and then 2 weeks with theater professor, where we kind of looked how it affected art and culture. And that wasn't too bad, but then, like, there are some that are really intensive. Like, I know Community of the Norbertines was a big one. I know a lot of people weren't too keen with that one.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
I've not had that one yet. So
It's a great one. You learn
really?
so much.
Okay. All right.
So, okay, like, I am going to mention it because
Yes.
I feel like I'm,
good.
like, obligated to at this point. But, like, I actually did like the class. It is kind of demanding, actually, but, like, early on it's a grind.
Yeah.
But then, like, it does kind of pick up.
Yeah.
And the professor's pretty cool, so there's that.
Yeah, I heard it was, like, what you learned was fine. It was just...
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truly.
It put you through a buffalo chopper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What professor was it?
Dr. Sands.
Ah,
Rosemary.
gotcha. Doctor.
Alright.
It's me, Sans Undertale. Alright, so that's kind of our take on the honors program. I shouldn't say our take because that wasn't my take at all.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot takes on the honors program, I like that.
Is this grounds to kick us out? Uh-oh.
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 It's okay, no one listens anyways. So
Pretty much. We don't exist.
hello there, all three of you.
Promote the crap out of this now.
Hoggers.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know that for sure. I could check, but I'm not going to. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is I know both of you picked up some loving jobs at the St. Norbert College cafeteria.
Hey, you also had a food service job.
I did, but it wasn't the
that's
cafeteria,
true.
Hey, aren't
and it
you
wasn't
picking
for
up
as
a job
long.
at the caf?
I honestly might.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yes! The question, though, is cafeteria.
Alright, cafeteria versus Phil's.
You want to have this debate?
Okay,
All
hold
right,
on.
I'll throw it down.
How are we gonna structure this though?
Okay.
So we have to first do food wise.
Okay. Calf
And then
wins.
do we want to do working?
Sure.
Okay. Alright, so what did you have to do working at Phil's?
Okay, so
Were you
I worked there for a year and a half, my freshman and sophomore year. And freshman year, basically, I was a cashier half the time, and I made subs the other half of the time. It was great. You know, the little sub station at Phil's. Yeah.
What a weak start.
Oh man! But then the next semester I worked there, they promoted me to lead, which is basically like that step between like base student worker and like supervisor, which obviously students can't be because they're adults. Not that we're not adults, because we are adults, but we're not really adults.
we're not adults.
They're like adult,
Yeah, right,
they're
right,
adultier adults than we
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
So
Supposedly.
basically, sophomore year, I was always in the back. So I was on the grill, I was cleaning the grills, I was stocking, I was cleaning the heater, lots of cleaning. It was great.
Nice.
I love cleaning. That's what we do at the calf.
Is that all you do?
Clean the floors a couple days a week. Run the dish room. Know how to run the dish room. Currently dish lead. That's fun.
Ooh.
Oof.
Okay.
I'm glad I have Ben and Justin in there with me because otherwise it would be a lot.
Yeah. People who aren't, you know,
high schoolers
People who
still
know what they're doing.
Yeah, people who know what they're doing.
People who've been
Yes.
trained.
that's a good way to put it.
Not me. I've been guessing
But-
for 4 years. Pretty much.
Otherwise,
That's how I've gotten through my major.
I mean, otherwise, what do? Oh, you do stations. I don't like doing stations. Stations isn't fun. You stand there and have to serve food to people.
Yeah. If
I get bored
filling
easily.
in, if you're doing like a float shift where you have to pick up like as the other like full-time staff go on break, if you have to go over and pick up their slack and like make their food and serve it and keep tabs on the stations and like jump around, then it's fun.
Mm.
As soon as everyone's back from break and you have to just stand in one spot, it sucks.
Mm.
And that's like a 3-hour shift. That the first hour is awesome, and then you have 2 left, and then you want to go.
Actually, it started off there as dinner prep, which was tear down lunch and put
Oh.
dinner mat together.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't
As
sound.
far as the lines go, you gotta take the pans out and I did the easy work, like putting buns in the baskets and cutting the Rice Krispie bars, but
Yeah, no, there's lots of behind the scenes work, I'm sure. Because I mean, like, no, I don't mean that sarcastically. I'm saying like most, like, I assume most people listening, like, have never.
Yeah.
Oh, I assume like most people listening have never worked food on campus. So like they just go to the cafe and go, oh boy, look at all this popcorn chicken already fried for me. Look at these buns already put up for me. Look at these clean floors, and they take it for granted. So seriously, like there's a lot of behind the scenes work that you don't think about. Like that's a serious comment. I understand why I was taken sarcastically. So quality of food. I think the calf wins. I'll advocate against myself on that one.
I think the calf. Yeah.
Wait.
Phil's, it's like Russian roulette.
Really?
Yes.
It depends who's back.
It does. It honestly
What have you gotten food poisoning off
because,
of?
Because if you have it's students that sometimes do the food, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like students who prepare the food and like those Tyson chicken strips and stuff, and just that creates kind of the perfect storm of someone might not have washed their hands somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
And I tend to get sick from it.
Yeah.
No.
Either that or it's also like it's a lot of like kind of burger joint, like hole in the wall kind of food, which is good and it has its niche, but I can't eat there for more than like one day.
You know what would be
Or I
hilarious?
get the poops.
If this were broadcasting in Phil's right now.
It's a good thing we don't broadcast.
Yeah, right.
We're in the calf.
I don't know.
We're in the calf right now.
I when I said food quality, I definitely was not thinking like food poisoning or health hazards. Because like I cannot like
in a perfect world where the food is prepared correctly.
Yeah.
on my behalf when I worked at Phil.
Stop that.
Okay,
You're gonna wreck
Stop
it.
it.
Nathan, please stop kicking the.
I put my
horse.
leg above my other leg and then I
So
kick
professional.
things. It's great. I know. I'm sorry.
We need a health inspector to come into Phil's.
No. When I worked at Phil's, I didn't think it was an issue.
Kidding.
The one thing that
Kind
Phil's
of.
has, though, that I always eat there that is the absolute best.
What?
Is the fact that you can do like a sandwich bar.
Those are good.
Yeah,
Sandwich
yeah,
bar?
yeah.
It is.
May as well not exist because it's
Yeah.
just for if there's nothing else that's good.
Yeah,
And it's okay, but with how much other specialty food they prepare, like I think I've only picked that out like twice, or when I'm trying to limit calories so I can have bread and some turkey.
Yeah, I will argue that is one thing that Phil's does have on the list.
Yeah, Phil's
Yeah, for
sandwich
sure.
bar is awesome.
That's true.
That's why I don't ever go to Subway ever again.
Oh, and now
They took my $5 footlong.
Phil's has fresh sushi made in store, which I think is
Is that
amazing.
really made in store?
Yes,
It is.
They-
It really
the,
is.
the old sandwich bar, that's now a sushi bar.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
sandwich bar moved to like the right a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my! I heard that they had sushi.
It's
and I
so
assumed that
good.
It was like the Tuesday gas station sushi.
They used to always have that,
Yeah.
and now they make it in
It's
the
actually
store.
pretty alright, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I love sushi.
I've never had sushi
Same.
before. I tried their crunchy
It's
crab
great.
roll. Oh,
Dude, yeah.
so good.
I
Dude,
agree.
I need to go get some.
It's a little
Get
price.
my
Well, I
tits
mean,
stuffed.
it's sushi. It's gonna be pricey, but it's
Yeah.
it's good.
Excited
It's
with
good.
sushi.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Stop looking at me.
You're so excited about
I-
this.
I
I love
love
it though.
sushi.
So do
I
I.
love sushi.
Honestly, it's great.
Yeah.
One of the greatest
It's real
things
good,
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
You know,
sure.
if you
I
drink a
got
bunch of water, the fish can still swim in your stomach.
That's right. I didn't know.
I like
That
that.
is my opinion
Makes
on
me
sushi.
feel, it's a little bit of a hot take, but understandable nonetheless.
What other questions you got?
Yeah, what do you
Want
got?
more?
Yeah, this is fun. Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
So y'all live in a house together.
So, bread.
No, we're not bringing that up.
What about bread?
Ah!
You got a bread?
All right, okay. I'm going to ask you a theoretical question. You guys are going to answer it honestly. All right. So, if you were driving a school bus for a school for children, right? Before you get in the bus, should you or should you not check around the bus to see if there are children and or cats
That's not
and or
a
dogs
critical situation.
laying around before you start the bus and drive away?
Wait, so when you say laying down, do you mean like
What?
they're dead or like?
No, like they're hiding, like they're playing hide and seek or something.
Oh.
There's a kid.
Yeah, you probably should.
All right, would you not do the same?
I mean, would I? I'm not a bus driver, but should you probably?
Oh.
Even though there are not supposed to be kids there.
Yeah, you can never
should-
trust a kid.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
So what
good
does this
thought.
have to do with housing?
Someone, I'll take that one. We had bread in the oven, and someone turned the oven on.
No. Why do you keep bread in your oven?
Yeah.
Why are you like you mean
Silence
like
A
because
loaf of bread.
it sounds like you were keeping it there as storage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the rest of our counter was covered with dishes and our 4 fucking coffee makers.
So someone turned the oven on, and there's bread in there. And it melted the plastic, and we had a very large argument about this, about the ethics of turning on the stove without checking inside the oven, and the ethics of leaving bread in said oven in the first
So-
place.
You'd think if you
And
had
we're
an
still
argument.
not-
Okay,
You'd
so
still
You'd
not
think
have
if you
an
had an
answer.
argument, you would argue 2 separate
You
points.
think we wouldn't take it on the radio to solve?
I think the reality of the situation here is that there's validity on both sides of the argument.
Yes. So
Because,
we should
yeah, you should have checked.
ban bread in the house.
But at the same time, why would you expect it
no-
to be there? Yeah.
I think it's stupid to turn on an oven without checking if there's something inside.
Correct.
Yeah, that's very
Like,
dumb.
I leave brownies
I've
in there.
never
Yeah.
done that. I've never felt like I had to check inside the oven.
Yeah, but what if something's in there?
What if regardless of whether or not something is stored there,
Yeah.
you should still check the oven.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
no
it's
different
like-
than checking behind your car before you
It's
leave.
right.
I don't do that either.
Oh,
This
wow,
You didn't check-
Nathan.
you
Sounds
didn't-
like an
when
issue.
you were parking at
It sounds
Aldo,
like an issue, not an issue.
when we were doing service at Aldo, you didn't check around your car before you left.
Well, I'd look at the rearview mirror.
It's a car though.
Service at all.
Are we getting into that too? That's on the list as well, actually.
Can we jump there? Can we jump there?
Let's move on.
Although,
Unbelievable.
So yeah,
boy.
the great time spending more time at Taco Bell than we did at Aldo.
Don't out
But
yourself here.
I'm not just outing myself. I'm outing the entire group.
Oh,
Hey.
no.
Not
We
you
never went.
guys. Not you guys. Maybe. I
We
don't know.
went at 8 a.m.
Program.
I don't remember when we went, but
No one follows.
we go for like 10 minutes.
Oh. So what's the
yeah.
question about it?
Can
Well,
we not?
Was Michael's great? Yes or no?
Well, I
Was
just-
Aldo great? Yes or no?
that was okay. So we
No
pretty
shades of
much
gray.
we pretty much just skipped the housing point. We'd
Yeah.
argue about bread
How's
for
your
a few
house?
minutes. How's my house? Well, they didn't tell us it was a duplex. What we saw. So I live with 4 other guys, and when we were looking for our house and picking, what we saw was a house with a giant driveway, 2 floors, 5 single bedrooms, and 2 bathrooms. And we were like, absolutely, that's awesome. What they didn't tell us is that the house was originally built as a duplex, and so you cannot get to the 2nd floor without taking these stairs on the outside of the building to the 2nd floor. In the winter, that is going to blow.
Yep.
So that's
Sounds
my
right.
housing situation. So there are arguments about that and whether it's 1 house or 2 houses and how we're treating it and just stuff like that.
I would almost say that it's like it should be considered too. Just because of the fact that they're so separated from each other.
There are
Because
valid.
the other duplex has a staircase inside it.
It does. Yeah.
Is this another duplex?
There is.
There
It's
is.
a side by side.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this one's a little bit different that they're actually separated by a physical barrier. That I mean, I think that you should be aware of who's. And I don't know how you police that, so I'm not like Galaxy Brain with how to fix it or anything. I just think that like, as long as you have a group of people that are all cool with sharing it, they should also like be under the like understanding that you had a group of 5, but you guys like should have like been able to know that 2 people should go upstairs and the other 3 live downstairs because they are just so physically separated. They are 2 separate buildings, pretty much.
Right, and that's completely fair, and I completely agree with that. The one thing that I have though is that like the reason we consider treating it as 1 house is because when the 5 of us decided we were going to live together, we decided that we were going to live together, like all in 1 house. So
Oh,
it really sucks being split like that. Like for logistical purposes, I completely understand where you're getting at, and I agree.
yeah.
It's just that the whole idea of us, we might as well not even be living in the same
Yeah,
house.
yeah, because the page online doesn't say
Yeah.
there's 2 kitchens.
No, it does not
Right,
say that.
right.
2 living rooms.
If that's the point that you're getting at, then I get that. I thought that you guys, what you were looking for was that you wanted it to be considered as 2. Or
No,
maybe
I get
that
what
was
you're
just
saying.
One of you guys, who we won't out here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. We've made it work now. I think we've come to an agreement now. Will there be arguments in the future? I'm sure there will be. It's inevitable in any housing situation.
Oh yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
well, if it happens, we'll overcome and make it work. Meanwhile, I know you guys have also. You guys have one of the only 5-person houses that has all single bedrooms
Yeah.
and isn't a duplex.
Yeah, we took a
I don't know how we
got
did that.
Truly,
Yeah,
honestly.
Because there was no floor plan. It was like one of the first years that it was open. Because no one really saw it last year. So
And
there
no
was
one-
no one to ask.
And the guys that were in there were basically hermits.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, what priority did you guys have when you picked the house?
That was, I think, our
It was our
second or third
second
choice.
Yeah.
So that was okay.
behind 420, which didn't have a great floor plan.
420.
All right.
Yeah.
And
But there was a floor plan.
there was a floor plan.
Yeah,
and that was
yeah.
why we put it above.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we went in blind on this one.
We
Gotcha.
did.
That's smart. Yeah. No, we also tried to do the same thing, but we prioritized this. The house we got was number 1 on our list, and that's because we didn't know what it was. We should have gone out of our way to figure that out beforehand.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely smart to sit down and like actually figure that out together. I completely agree. And then when you actually went to pick your house, like, what spot did you have for picking? Like, were you second group, third
We
group?
were. What did it start? It started like a 2.
I don't remember. I wasn't involved in it.
I think it started overall. It was like 2, and I think we were 230. So yeah, we would have been the second
we were
group.
like the second group.
I think so. Yeah.
But we were one of the first groups of 5
Yeah.
because of the way they
Okay.
randomized it.
I got you.
Is it was us and another group of 5 at that time, and there was like 2 groups of 5 that went before us.
And they managed to pick the houses you had on the top of the list.
They were
picked
talking
one.
about it. Yeah, we overheard them and figured it's best to undercut them for like our second or third choice if we were kind of even opinion-wise on all of them. That we took the chance of going with our second one just for the security of having a house, because it's so hyper-competitive that if we got kicked out of like the housing process because we tried to sign up for the one that they beat us to, we would have had to start over, and there was no guarantee that we'd get the one that we wanted then.
Right.
Okay. That's
It
fair.
worked out.
And you're happy with it?
Yeah.
Seems like you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's spacey. It's spacey than my
It's
house
nice.
is.
It's really nice.
It is nice.
I love that main room with like the wood and the wooden floor
Yeah.
and the wooden walls too.
The tongue
Yep.
Yeah.
paneling. was
Looks like it
nice.
was a build-on of what was originally the porch because it's got the beams on the top and stuff.
Might have been an old sunroom. Or
Right.
Probably.
Probably.
I think my room was a build-on too because it's very much the same.
something. Yeah.
But there's like obviously like there was the railing of a porch on one wall and they just painted it to like match the wood and threw a board across it and then they put the wood planks everywhere else. So it looks like mine was added on to whatever the
Oh,
porch
yeah.
was.
Okay,
So,
that's
but
cool.
it's nice. It looked
Yeah, no, that room is a really awesome hangout room, I think. The rest of your house is cool too. I also really like that little room in the second floor. It's just kind of like that little lounge area.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We got
I haven't been up there
There's
since.
a disassembled bed sitting there.
There is
Oh, there
currently
is. I was gonna ask if I would set up. Is that all there is?
unused space.
Because we
but-
mostly just used it out. Because we have
Yeah, we used.
that main lounge is big enough for the 5 of us.
Yeah.
That's fair. There's no need to. Yeah, okay, I got that.
And I don't think there's been once that all 5 of us have hung out yet. So.
Right. So,
Senior year.
That's funny because by now, when we were all in Michael's together, the 8 of us had done stuff all together at various points.
That's
Yes.
true. Yeah.
We had.
And starting about now, it stopped.
That's also true. So I remember we did an 8-man Smash Fridays. That was fun.
Oh, that was awesome.
We got Kyle to do it
that
too.
did get
And then
pretty
we
rowdy.
all got sick of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That always
Yeah.
happens.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of Michael's,
Uh-oh.
do we miss those days or no?
Yes, actually.
It was the best housing option we had sophomore year.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And
for...
the service wasn't bad.
That's true.
I'm not gonna say. I mean, we didn't get our first choice for service,
Yeah.
which kind.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop sitting like that. I've kicked the mic 3 times
which,
now. The cord for the mic, not the mic itself. The
Um,
mic is fine.
which kind of sucked because we were looking. That it gave us the most possibilities to, I guess, use our strengths to do good. Whereas Aldo, we kind of just got thrown in, and
Yeah.
I spent.
Yeah.
We changed the sign.
I
And
broke
that
the
was-
sign.
That was one of the most productive.
Yeah, like
Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
I was trying to change the sign. Do you remember the side of the sign that was held on with like duct tape?
Oh,
Yeah.
It was like early spring, and I opened the glass paneling to change it, and I opened it, and the entire front just came off, and I'm just like, I have a picture of it. I'd have to dig it up. It's on my old phone, but oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
There were some groups that obviously had a really good time in Michael's, like the people going to the Y, like super structured, super,
yeah.
super like kind of they're kept track of a lot better, and then there's other places that just kind of fell through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't have a lot of structure.
Well, yeah, because like Aldo
No.
was nice when I was working with the kids, and then there was like a couple
And then there
times they
was the
forgot I
rest.
was
Yeah,
coming, and I
'cause
got locked out.
I remember like
So-
when you joined the group, like the Justin and I were in.
Yeah.
Like there were the first, like early on, you were like actually working with the kids, and Justin and I would just be told to like ask teachers for help, and they wouldn't need our help, so we just like walk around
Yeah.
and like look busy because they didn't need our help. What were we there for?
Yeah, you just kind of went and we cleaned the basement.
Yeah.
and we
But then,
said
like,
hi to some kids.
You would be like, oh yeah, I actually had fun working with the kids, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I wish
forgot
I was
that
doing
working
something.
with the kids, and they kept locking
Yeah.
me out of the classroom.
I remember that too. Yeah. So I mean, it was all in all, it was all right.
I'm interested to hear like what other people had with that.
Yeah.
Like how good of a
The other group had all kind of the same experience we did.
Yeah.
From what I'd heard.
Yeah.
They either got put in classrooms where they weren't necessarily qualified to help.
Right.
Like, I know there was a couple that were put in like the early childhood.
Yeah.
And kids aren't their thing.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I started paperwork for most of the first semester. Because I got placed with the with the front desk, the main office. So I was helping out with that. Hang a poster here, make popcorn. We made popcorn.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was the high point for me.
That was the high point.
That was like the most involved we had been.
It was the greatest day.
It was great.
I think it was part of that too. Actually, that was fun.
We did that like in a closet area, right?
That was weird.
Yeah, it was like a closet by the cafeteria.
Right. It wasn't
a closet. It was like a storage room, but they had a full popcorn machine.
But it was really like a confined space.
Yeah, so we had to lay out bunches of white bags of popcorn.
Yeah.
And we had nowhere to put them,
Right.
so they were just all condensed on books and stuff.
Yep.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I did enjoy that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's all I had topic wise. I do have some quick questions that we could fly through if we want.
Sure. Now I got
Yeah,
15
sounds
minutes.
good.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
So, so you said that. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about this. This is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. So, this hypothetical question. You're on campus. You're walking to GMS. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you're about to enter the building. You're about 10 seconds away, and the person at the door holds the door for you. And there's an awkward amount of time before you get to the door.
True.
The reason I asked this is because that literally just happened to me on the way in here, and I'm like,
And then you see him shy a little. Holding the door.
what do you do in that situation?
I just go about my day.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not gonna
Turn around, leave.
I feel like the problem is if you're at that awkward distance and they initiate the door holding, it's
can't
already
stop.
awkward.
It's
Yeah.
like awkward eye contact. You
Right.
can't just break it.
Exactly,
Right.
because if you speed up, it's awkward. If you just keep going your normal pace, it's awkward. You slow down and turn around, it's awkward. What do you do? So
it's awkward.
sometimes, yeah. So honestly, I usually just keep doing what I normally do and just walk normally.
Yeah.
But
it is feel bad about it.
and I'll say thank you, but it's just kind of a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's always a little bit weird
I'll always
Is it more weird if you know the person or you don't know the person?
if you don't know the person.
Oh, it's always people I don't know.
Yeah.
If you
'Cause
know
if it's
who it
someone
is,
I know, then
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, because with the person that happened to me, I never seen them before.
Yeah.
Nice guy, but I'll be the guy to always walk faster just to make it, to end the awkward encounter quickly.
That's true.
But you guys just don't care.
Not really.
No.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
guess I'm alone on that one.
Yep.
But
Probably.
what I do understand though, if it's someone you know, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Or if it's a building you have to swipe into, then I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
true.
Yeah, that is true.
Because if it happened to me a lot, in particular 3M. I don't know why 3M, but I feel every time I go to 3M, someone was ahead of me that opened the door.
Yeah, it's everyone wants to get into Sensenbrenner and 3M.
Right.
There's always people going in and out.
Yeah.
And oftentimes none of them have swipes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. So I'm gonna try just being that guy and just taking my sweet time and see how it goes for me.
Do it.
I'm gonna be
liberating.
I bet now that I've actually mentioned
It
it,
really
Do a
is.
somersault at the end?
I'll do a somersault at the end too.
Yeah.
On my way through the door, I like it. All right. Here's argument I got into last night. I'm not gonna say with who, because I don't want to call people on the show. Another hypothetical. You're in a room that has an air conditioner, but the air conditioner is not on, and it's really warm, and you want them to make it colder. Do you say, "Hey, can you turn the air up or turn the air down"?
Turn the air on.
Yeah.
No.
The
Up
air
or
conditioner's
down?
not running.
No.
On is not an option. Okay,
no.
let me change the question. Air conditioner is running, and you want it to be colder. Do you say turn the air up or turn the air down?
This is hard.
Well, if it's off, you can't turn it up or down.
But it's
Oh, it's
or
on now.
down.
It's on now.
Oh,
It's on now.
on.
Sorry,
Oh,
I clarified.
okay.
You're right.
Well, so that comes down to the linguistic difference between are you referring to the air itself or the air conditioner, right?
Okay.
So that's just my perspective. I could be totally wrong here.
I think it also depends where you are, because I feel like it's okay to say turn it up here.
Yeah.
But like if you go like to Australia or something, it might be turn it down.
Because they're upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. I was like, wait, are you miming here? No, I do get what you're saying. I do. Yeah. Because they're upside down. Yeah.
I would say turn it up.
I would say turn it up because you want the
Yeah,
fan strong.
I would
Increase
also
the intensity of
the cold. Yeah.
I agree with that. Same
Yeah.
sentiment, personally.
Oh, something tells me you're on the other side.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember what I said.
Well, how can you have an argument over something you don't remember?
Because I knew at the time. I had a side at the time.
Right.
I definitely had a side at the time. Do you want to know who it was?
Yeah.
Clippy?
No, it was Kaylee.
Oh,
That makes sense.
That sounds
Yeah.
about right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I don't remember which side was which. I really, you know what? I have it.
Kaylee was
We
probably
argued
wrong.
about it in Facebook Messenger later too. Hold on. Let me.
This actually sounds worse than our arguments.
It does
We
actually.
Yeah.
argued
somehow.
over the colors of Minecraft beds and bread.
All right. What's the best Minecraft bed color? While I try to find this stupid message.
I mean, I'm partial to blue, but blue's already been taken. Also, I'm colorblind, so the options are halved. So.
We talk about colorblindness. This campus is great for you, isn't it?
Okay.
Red and yellow.
We're
Okay.
in a green room right now.
She argued.
Yeah, I know.
She argued for that you want to say turn it down for like because you're turning the temperature down.
I would disagree.
That's
Yeah,
what I
because
disagree with that as well.
But it's
And
not-
I remember now.
Yeah, you're not making a statement in reference to the temperature, though.
Yeah, you're taking.
And
So
that's my argument.
after confronting my resources, I do agree with all of you.
Because
Alright.
by saying turn the air up, like you can use it for a heater too.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn the air up.
Yeah. It goes
I mean,
both
it is
ways.
still
and
sexy.
it's understood within the context.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Truly.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was an argument.
I don't either.
Do you have any?
It
other
seems really
Because I was literally in bed last night, and I heard them walk in. I got up to say hey, and I opened my door, and immediately she looks at me and goes, "I have a question for you.
Oh.
When you turn the air conditioner, like the temperature down, are you turning the air up or down?" And Garrett looks at me like, "Help me." And
Sounds about right.
I'm just like, "You turn the air up." She goes, "No." I'm like, "Oh my god, what a bad." But no, it ended up being a full discussion that shouldn't have happened.
Huh.
So that was fun.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other?
I have one more question.
All right.
I have one
let's
more
do it.
question.
Hoggers.
Best building on campus.
Best
What?
Best building on campus.
Best building.
It can be a dorm, a class building, a common area.
I have a surprising answer, but I'll wait till everyone else goes.
No, I wanna hear
It's
your
gonna be
Yeah,
a
you
hot
go first,
take.
you go
It's gonna be a
first.
hot
You
take
go
though.
first.
No, I want the hot take.
All right, don't boo when I say it. I will
I
explain.
respect.
Watch
the
him
hot
say
take.
Roggenberg.
Boyle.
What? No.
Hear me-
No! You are
have to listen.
silent.
You have to listen why.
Silent.
You have to listen why though.
No. Okay, fine.
I have an explanation.
Uh-huh.
It's not Boyle is kind of crap.
Okay. All right.
Boyle is awful.
Here is I'm
Especially in the
interrupting
summer.
you here.
Yes.
So
But-
sorry,
yes.
but I'm going to. I agree with you, but I also disagree with you. I think it's objectively the worst building we have
Yes, I
on
think
campus.
objectively it is.
However, if you ever want to study and be left alone, no one's in Boyle.
Yes.
No one is ever in
Actually, I
Boyle.
didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I take classrooms in Boyle all the
But-
time because no one's there.
Big downside is chalkboards. Personally, I
That's
hate
true.
cholkboards.
Oh,
Personally,
yeah.
however,
I
there are
hate
like
them.
Their
some
whiteboards
rooms-
are bad though.
They're-
Whiteboards
I
are
Because
know.
they're those weird.
Yeah,
they're
it's not like a real.
flat.
Yeah, it's really weird.
But this is my reason
But
why
go
I
ahead,
like
sorry.
Boyle.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever seen the basement of Boyle?
There's a basement of
There's a
Boyle.
Boyle has a
Oh, yeah.
basement,
What?
and it is incredible.
Really?
It is, yeah. If you go like the doors, the set of doors that faces like the chapel for St. Joe's.
Yeah.
There's a door there that's always locked, and if you get campus,
Yes.
if you call campus safety, you need permission to get down there, but campus safety can unlock it for you. I've had to go down there to like find props for the theater a bunch, and when you go down there, I have videos of this. It's straight out of a horror movie. There's just water puddles on the floor.
Really?
The stairs are every which way. Like there's rooms that are abandoned, full of tools that haven't been touched since like the 40s or something. Like
So
that.
do I hear
School might not have
field
been.
trip? Question
It's
mark.
crazy down there. It's like a time capsule of like a different time. That all they do is they saw pipes down there at the bottom of the stairs, and like the rest of the place is untouched. They have all the old rotary phones that used to be in all the
Really?
buildings stored there in like the back. There's a long hallway full of toilets, and it's dark, and it just goes on into the darkness.
That's
of
actually
toilets.
really cool.
It's so cool down there.
But I still don't think it makes it objectively the best building.
No,
I mean,
it's
still
just the coolest.
I s-
It was the
okay,
first time that
that's-
I went
that's
like,
fair.
oh my god, this is amazing.
That
This is
is
the first
fair.
time that I saw that basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
I am 100% in agreement with the last part of the
cool.
sentence.
Then it's not a hot take to say it's awful. I want to hear what everyone else has to say, though. What's your take on the best building?
I mean...
Don't say GMS. That's an easy answer. There's the most money in GMS.
That's kind of my argument.
Yeah,
Is it everything that
that's
isn't Boyle? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a program.
It is
Yeah,
the
you can't say
anti-Boyle.
Boyle and then say don't say GMS.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I personally do think it's GMS. I spent a lot of time in GMS, so I'm biased. I have all my most of my
That's
classes
true.
there at least. I spent a lot of time studying there.
It smells nice in there. It smells new.
It smells normal, like
Unless
a
you get to the
building.
top floor of the morgue.
Glass and steel beats brick any day of the week.
Right, exactly.
True.
There's whiteboards, which is personal favorite. But yeah, there's also money in it, so you know.
No, I completely agree with that,
Maybe
actually.
you find that in the art building.
The art building, where's that?
There's a second floor to the art building.
Okay.
Yo, we have art here?
Second floor of the art building is pretty hype though.
Yeah, there's
'Cause
a
of the
second
lounge.
floor and a basement.
Lounge
It's
is-
not just a
basement
hallway
is
to get to the
sketch.
cab.
Yeah.
The basement is sketch.
The lounge
I
is cool
slept
though.
in the basement once.
I do know that.
Overnight.
You did tell me that.
Behind the door so no one could see if they
I have
came
never
in.
slept in the physics rooms, but apparently it's a thing.
Yeah.
Apparently people do it a lot.
Yeah.
That's
It does
I
not
know
surprise
Gabe
me.
did it all the time. Not surprising though. Exactly. Gabe's
does that
he's
'cause,
just
like,
too lazy to do
12
anything.
o'clock, I'm conking out.
Yeah. I miss Gabe.
I love
But
Gabe.
I don't really know that I want to make a plan to sleep in GMS either, but
What if we all camp out with blankets?
movie night question
I
mark?
would do that.
Okay,
A lock-in?
on an unrelated note,
Ooh.
the tables in the physics rooms are actually super comfortable to sit on.
That's true.
Really?
So,
Who sits on the
Yeah.
table?
me, sometimes. Sometimes the chairs aren't really fun, so yeah.
I played Call of Duty on the TV in the photography lab in the basement of the art building one time. It was when my friend was supposed to be like on duty, like
Oh, really?
patrolling the wood shop. He was on his Xbox there instead.
That's better use of your time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm kidding. That's
Yeah.
maybe a hot
That was
take,
pretty
but-
dangerous. But
Yeah, probably.
It was only for half an hour.
Not bad.
No one was there.
Old Riverside, which no longer exists.
Oh,
That's
that's
your
true.
No, we just came back and it was gone.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I have a corner of Old Riverside somewhere in my house.
What?
Really?
Yeah, so when they demolished it, they just kind of left some of the debris laying
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
They did.
have what is like the corner facade.
Oh.
It's about this tall, so there's like 6 or 7 bricks in the old facade.
Oh, that's
my
pretty cool,
gosh,
actually.
That is cool.
I don't think I'm supposed to have that.
You
but
probably not.
Go-
I
go
also don't
memorial.
think they care though. They demolished it, so.
I never even saw the inside. It was just a little thing that was just gone.
But now I mean, it's really opened up the river. I mean, they
It
put a couple
really
benches
did.
down
Yeah.
where buildings
We
were.
can't build there though anymore.
Nope.
Just
Right.
because
Yeah.
they ruined their grandfather
Yeah.
with that. So oops.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Not
Not
enough
like
housing for all the new students.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that there should be anything there anyway.
Wait, what do you mean that introducing a large number of students but not having enough space for them is a
Demolishing
problem?
2 buildings. And then
Ooh, hot takes.
That is hot take.
Yeah, sure.
I think for me, I'm gonna have to agree with Tim on GMS. I know it's a cop-out answer, but there's just so much there.
There really is.
Like, there's so many different classrooms, there's so many study rooms, and there's a lecture hall, and there's, I don't know, something about it just feels like, it's where I spend a lot of time, so it's the building I'm used to. But, I also really like the basement of Coffrin.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
know why.
Yeah, true.
I don't know why. It's just something about it. Like, I love that little lounge area. I love Coffrin 11.
The
Yeah.
rest of Coffrin, we would be better off without, though.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I
I've
kinda
never
think-
had a class in
I've
Coffrin.
literally had one class there. I kind of think Coffrin's underrated,
Okay.
but I also think that like it just Coffrin and Boyle kind of just pale in comparison to GMS.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of a fact.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How about those classrooms at Bemis, though?
Oh, true. Actually,
Yeah, I've never had a Bemis class. I've never had a
Me neither.
Coffrin class.
I haven't either, but yeah.
All right, well, we're about out of time. Does anyone have any final thoughts or shout-outs they want to give before we wrap up the show?
Nope.
All right.
I had fun.
Good talk, good talk.
Thanks, Ben.
I can't think of nothing.
Well, I definitely want to thank Mark and Ben for joining us this week. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Thanks
There's
for having
only 2
us.
swears
Yeah, absolutely.
all show. Nice.
Yeah, no, next week we'll have 2 brand new people. We'd love to have you guys back at some point, though, once we've cycled through some
Sure,
people.
bro.
This is really fun.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
So thank you guys, absolutely. After the show, there's going to be a couple minutes of just dead noise on the air because we got to upload the recording of the show on my computer, which means we can't play music. But as soon as that's over, up next we're going to have Reptilia by The Strokes. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week, Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
Cool. Cool.
Bye.
You're playing Reptilia by the Strokes.